Live from New York City, it's the Wendy Williams Show. Today, it's a hot start to the week with all of the latest juicy hot topics. And the Duggar family finally speaks out on their shocking scandal. Rob Shooter has the inside scoop. Plus, in Style Magazine's Kalana Barfield shares the summer's must-have accessories. Now, here's Wendy!
Welcome to another fun day at Wendy's. So nice. Ta-da! Welcome to our show. Say hello to my co-host and the studio audience. Thank you for watching today. Better now that I'm inside. Let's talk about stuff. It's time for Hot Topics. Thank you. Honey, hide your kids, hide your wives, lock the doors, because the killer is on the loose. Not one, but two convicted murderers. It's the big story here in New York, and I guess as far as Canada, and maybe across the country. No, this is not Tom Green and George Lopez. These two are real-life killers, and they escaped from a prison in upstate New York on Saturday. Look, they cut holes with drills, which, how do you use a drill without people hearing that? Unless, maybe they didn't use a drill, maybe they used a hacksaw. You know, a hacksaw is just old-fashioned. You don't plug it in, you just Anyway, look, so they used power tools, they say, and cut through steel walls and escaped through this area right here. This is the area that's behind the bed. And then they come out of here, and then they continue on, and they escape through a manhole in a nice suburban town where your kids are riding bikes. Look. And you know what the authorities say? The authorities say that if these guys had just placed the cover back on the manhole, they would have gotten off scot-free. But I guess they were so eager for freedom, they left the cover anyway, so now they're looking for them. So here's my thing, and the reason why I said I'm glad that I'm in the house, because you know, as far back as me being on radio, even before that, I've always believed in the killer. And the killer's not gonna get me. Now look, apparently this prison is 5 hours and 1 minute away from New York driving. It's 103 hours on foot. As best I can tell you, they're not gonna go to Canada. The reason why, even though Canada's right around the corner, you need a passport. Like, that's too much paperwork, you know? Why wouldn't they be someplace, like across from Canada, like maybe walk over to Detroit, you know, where they could hide out, or come to New York City, where you just get lost in the millions of people, but don't come on our street. And then how long do they think they can get away with this? I mean, you know, you've got to get massive plastic surgery. I don't know, but it depends on where you live. You might be able to blend in. Listen, there's a $100,000 reward for these people, and all I'm telling you, laugh with me on this one. When I heard about the story, I was laying on my stomach, because I like to lay on my stomach, even though I'm telling myself not to do that anymore, because I'm a woman of a particular age, and that makes wrinkles. Plus, it's hard on my girls. But look, I still lay on my stomach when I sleep, but the TV is on, so I hear the story, and I'm hearing, I'm like, please, dear Lord, don't let them be black. Right? My people go through that. You know, whenever we hear a crime story, do your people go through that? Like if you happen to be Asian or Jewish or whatever, it's like, dear Lord, please don't let them be Puerto Rican, right? So, in conclusion, the killer is on the loose. Let's move along. So everybody's talking about this Chris Brown explosive run-in with Karrueche Tran. Did you hear about this? Yes. Well, remember, it was Karrueche who left Chris after she read online, like the rest of us, that he just had a baby with another woman. sloppy. Anyway, so Chris is refusing to leave Karrueche alone. And here's what happened the other night. So Karrueche's friend, Christina Milian, was hosting a party at a club named the Playhouse, the Dollhouse, the Playhouse. It's where everybody goes, people are packed in like sardines, the bottle service is off the chain, the music is very, mixed, like everybody can have a good time there, okay? If you're cool, then you go there. So anyway, Karrueche's in there supporting her friend Christina Milian, who's hosting the party, and everything is right until Chris Brown enters. Well, Chris Brown showed up because he found out that Christina Milian was hosting this party, and most likely Karrueche was going to be there. So Chris shows up with an entourage and gets a banquet, up there in the VIP, right next to Karrueche's. So Karrueche's very upset about all this, and Chris just will not stop bothering her. So finally, Karrueche decides, I'm leaving the club. That I can't even deal with you anymore. TMZ got the footage of Chris following Karrueche out of the club and forcing his way into her Uber car. Now look, this is like crazy. So Karrueche's getting in an Uber with her friends. Chris is badgering her. And Karrueche's telling her, Chris, leave us alone, leave us alone. Chris pushes one of her friends out of the way and gets in the Uber. And the reason that Karrueche didn't complain about that is because she didn't want to make any more of a scene than that was already going on. So she ended up, her and her friends, dropping Chris off with some of his, at another location where some of his friends were. And that was supposed to be the end of that. But no, I know. So after Karrueche does finish hanging out with her friends, she decides to go back to her house, where all night long she's hearing, allegedly, where you at? Where you at? To the point where the neighbors had to call the cops. Now, first of all, as a young woman, I don't even know why you even have to have a house. Like, I'm not blaming her, but all I'm just saying, young girls out there everywhere, even if you can afford to buy a detached house, why wouldn't your first place be a condo with a doorman and one way in and one way out? Condos are fabulous these days. Oh, you could really luxuriate in a condo. And there's no back door and front door and windows and all that mess. Anyway, so Karrueche apparently is in a detached house and Chris is banging like a madman. And the neighbors call the cops. I guess he left before the cops showed up. Then Karrueche decides that she's hungry. This is the part that makes me think she's attention seeking. And it's work because we're talking about it. So then she decides she's hungry. And in a house, I guess all the money's on the mortgage, so there's nothing in the refrigerator. I don't get it. Everybody has a dozen eggs and some pancetta sitting around. And some cheese, and sometimes the cheese is a little old with mold, but you cut that off and you keep it moving. Right? So here she goes. 3:30 in the morning, she leaves her house and goes to some place called Norm's Diner. It's big in LA. It's like they say near the Beverly Center. And anyway, she went to Norm's Diner, which by the way was the location of she and Chris's first date ever. And who do you think shows up at Norm's Diner? Chris. So, the saga continues. I think Karrueche loves this attention. You need to file a restraining order because then the next time he comes around, if by chance you have to swing a bat at him or ride over him in your car trying to get out of the driveway, it'll already be public record that he's been harassing you. He seems like one of these young, entitled, rich guys who's never been told no. And he also seems like the type that doesn't respect women the way they should. And that's it. If this is a young man who has allegedly seen his mom beat, physically abused, and then we saw what he did to Rihanna and how he acts just in general, I just feel like he needs a lesson. It starts with a restraining order. And Karrueche, stop playing with this madman. Yeah. And I wonder what kind of friend Christina Milian was. Now, did she leave her check for the night at the club, and leave with her friend, who she saw was in trouble because the madman ex-boyfriend was behind her? Or did she stay and collect her coins and tell Karrueche, girl, I'll see you later. I got rent to pay. Anyway. I always say sometimes if celebrities don't bring things up, we forget about them quick because we've got lives to lead and things to do. This is the case of Ariana Grande. Okay, so she went off in a full-page Twitter rant. By the way, she made some pretty good points about she's tired of being referred to as Big Sean's ex. Well, I'm the Hot Topics lady, and I haven't thought about you and Big Sean as a couple in a moment. I mean, they're broken up. When I think of Ariana Grande, I think of the Mariah Carey octaves. I think of a little tiny goober who likes to be carried, because she likes to be carried. And I think of an it girl. But I don't think of Big Sean. Be honest, co-host. Clap if you think of Big Sean when you think of Ariana Grande. Not that many. When Hot Topics presented me with this story, I was like, this is so not a story. Nobody is thinking about you and Big Sean. I mean, we might think about Big Sean, we think about you, but just... Bye, girl. Next story. And maybe it's just me. Because I like a man's man. And I feel like today's society, we're so as one. You know, I'm at the nail salon, you're at the nail salon. I'm wearing skinny jeans, you're wearing skinny jeans. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm doing my eyebrows, you're doing your eyebrows. I can't. And don't ask me exactly what a man's man is, because that doesn't mean he's the one with the screwdriver. You just know it when you see it. And Zoe Saldana is married to an artist named Mario. I can't pronounce his last name, his old last name, but I can pronounce what he's declared as his new last name, Saldano. This is too much blending for me. Like, I know a lot of us, some of us, we take our husband's last name or we keep our maiden name. But clap and be honest, if you'd be okay with your husband taking your last name. Okay. Well, not me. And we can agree to disagree. I'm turned off. I don't think I could even call him Marco Saldano. I think I would just rather call him Marco. As a matter of fact, I didn't know him before he got with Zoe, and I didn't even know his name. I just knew that he always is carrying her purses. Oh, yes, hello, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, there you go. And I'm not saying anything about, you know, his masculinity. I'm just saying everything is not right for Suzanne, could that be you?
No. I mean, I would not. I'm okay if Brendan carried my purse, but he doesn't. Let's be straight. But I would never ask him to take my name. Never. I'm not okay with it. I am Suzanne Higgins.
And
in my private life.
I mean, to each his own. I just found this a really interesting story, so I'm glad you allowed me to present it to you. Let's move along. So Ludacris and his wife, Adoxy, just welcomed a baby girl. Her name is Cadence. This is the first Cadence. That's a pretty name, isn't it? Without being too off to the left of cuckoo. I like that Cadence. Anyway, this is the first child for Adoxy, who you know is a medical school dropout. Only because it makes me mad that she dropped out of medical school. Like, I really do think, like, she could have had the whole ball of wax. Ludacris could have helped her fund a clinic or her own private practice. She's beautiful, she could be a doctor, nobody be calling her a gold digger, not that anybody is, but you know what I'm saying. Then she could have Ludacris's baby, plus Ludacris's baby with the other baby's mother that Ludacris stole. Okay, he didn't steal it, but I still have yet to find out exactly why it is that this baby's mother of an 18-month-old to Kea lost custody. You know, is she a crackhead? Is she mainlining? Is she riding the horse? All terms from Starsky and Hutch, by the way. You know, old school terms for drugs. Like what is she doing to make it so that she lost custody? I can't figure it out, and I can't figure out what kind of man would rip a child away from his mother. And so this young lady's name is Tamika, and she works in hotel hospitality. I don't know whether she's pushing a tray and knocking on doors, and then you open the door and say, Tamika, is that you? Is this what it's come to? Well, look, all I know is that she's got one of these Kickstart accounts, and so far she's raised $2,000 because she wants to appeal. She needs $7,000 to appeal to try to get Kea back. And I mean, I could see where a doxy's like, look, I'm gonna stay out of it. I scored big time, okay? First I was in medical school, now I'm able to drop out, now I'm married to Ludacris, and seemingly everything is fine. Now I've got his baby, so I don't have to fight for the other. I don't have to fight for the other babies, and we got it on lock. And then he's got a third child, also like a 13-year-old who lives here in New York. Apparently that mother is fit enough to keep her kid. It's made me feel a ways about Ludacris. Like the whole, who rips a baby out of a mother's, an 18-month-old, you're still lactating, right? And now, the former doctor, Adoxy, now she's got this little one at home, and then this other little one at home. It's just a mess. And if you squint, there's something not right here. We'll be following this story. I try to follow young Hollywood because I know you don't care. Unless it's broken down for you, right? Like you don't care, a lot of you. So Joe Jonas and his supermodel girlfriend, well, it is his girlfriend. Look, they've been denying that they're dating. Her name is Gigi Hadid. And remember, her mother is the one from Beverly Hills Housewives who's going through bad Lyme disease. Yeah. Anyway, but Hot Topics has receipts on their dating. They were in Toronto, and here they are. And then they were and you can see by the graininess, that was taken from a long shot. Somebody got a good one. Then they were at a fashion party. And then they were seen cuddling and kissing in New York. So it's safe to say that they are boyfriend and girlfriend, they're dating, and they really have it bad for each other. But here's why they won't admit it. Because I'm just like, why do people always try to hide their relationships? Unless you're doing something that you feel you shouldn't be doing. Well, she is. Joe Jonas used to date Gigi's best friend, Taylor Swift. Now, here's what they're saying, though. This was 7 years ago, and this could have been at the time where Joe was wearing his purity ring, which means he wasn't smushing. That's number one. But, you know, I think like Taylor Swift, here's another friend that you need to drop. Like just last week I was telling you, who'd I tell her she needs to break up with?
Lord and
Kelly Goulding. Well, now you need to break up with Gigi Hadid. I'm gonna tell you why. You're too young to be going back and forth worrying about, you know, who Gigi is dating. All you girls only mess with only 5 different men in Hollywood anyway. It's all the same cesspool of swill. And also, Taylor Swift has got at least, every time we say a friend, don't we always say best friend? Because that's what the blogs and the articles are, best friend. Now, what Taylor has to learn, young lady, is that you'd be lucky at your age if you have 5 best friends. By my age, if you have 1 best friend. 60 best friends for anybody is out of control. So, you just learn to give these girls a chance, and the second they cross you, drop them like a bad habit, because stressing over girlfriends gives you wrinkles, and you don't want them. Not so young. And for those of you who think love is lost after 40 years old or 38 or whatever you consider young, you are so wrong, and I love bringing you stories like this. Jessica Simpson's mom, Tina, is 55 years old, and she just got engaged to her boyfriend of 2 years. And look, he's no leftover or hand-me-down. Her boyfriend of 2 years, his name is John Goldstein. He's a lawn czar. That means the person who comes around and does your lawn. But not just any lawn, that would be like a lawn boy. A lawn czar owns the company. Yeah. Look, if you live in LA and the surrounding areas, then you know Johnny Appleseed Lawn Care. That's John. His clients include the Beverly Hills Hotel. Oh, that grass is beautiful. And they've got topiary, not just bushes. And he does the Mark Wahlberg's home. He does the Lance Armstrong's home. He does the Tom Hanks home. And he does the homes of both Ashley and Jessica Simpson. So you can imagine one day, John probably came around to check on his workers. You know how lawn owners do. You don't just sit in the office and wait for them to come back with the mowers. So look, you can imagine lovely Mrs. Simpson was outside maybe crying because, you know, she and Joe were married for 34 years and now they're not married anymore. And she's maybe crying over a cup of Sanka on the veranda. Look, wondering what's gonna become of her life. And all of a sudden she hears the buzz of the lawnmowers. Like, and it might have been in July where they were topless. You ever look outside, like if you get your lawn, you ever look outside and see all what's it doing when you hear that buzz? There's a lot going on. I say all that to say, he's 52, she's 55. It's never too late for love. On Facebook, by the way, because we're nosy, we followed him. He's following Will Ferrell. Ferrell's the black one with the hat. Okay. He's following Will Ferrell, Shaka Khan, Luther Vandross, the Eurythmics, and bicycling. So he's got a very eclectic taste. And so Mrs. Simpson has moved on, and as we know, Joe Simpson, Jessica and Ashley's father, has moved on as well. You know, he is a, where's the picture? Don't hold back on the picture now. Oh, they're holding back, oh, there you go. He manages models. I guess that's one of the models that he's managing. And he's moved on with his life. So I say all that to say, you older women out there, or if you're don't lose sight on love. It is never too late.